Western civilization has been patriarchal for several thousand years now, and so have many other civilizations, because patriarchy is a really efficient system if your goal is to do a lot of military conquest and produce a lot of the thing that you would call a glorious hero if it's on your side, but a bloodthirsty psychopath if it's not on your side. This patriarchy was never some kind of democratical club for half the population. It was always a strict hierarchy, or rather two very strict hierarchies, one earthly and one divine. In the divine hierarchy we had the pope or other high priest on the top, always male, ruling over a priesthood who was always male. Yes, there were some female nuns, but they were really marginalized. Doesn't really matter. In the political sphere, we always had king over lord, lord over population, guild master over guild, and so on. And with very few exceptions, these persons were all male. They were required to be male, although some exceptions could be made for daughters of very special men. This social structure was built around a worldview where women are beneath men and ruling with an iron fist is the highest of virtue. A worldview where the creator of the universe is a king up in heaven and suspiciously similar to the kings down on earth. Brutal, tyrannical, and male. In some videos that I have recently encountered, the speakers claim that patriarchy is a myth. They claim that men has been considered disposable, while women has been cherished for their ability to bear babies. They also admit that the husband was indeed above his wife, but they claim that this was a responsibility for the man, not a privilege. The first pair of arguments is really not an argument against patriarchy at all. I mean, it's not an argument against the existence of patriarchy. It is a very good argument for why patriarchy is bad for everybody. Patriarchy was never for all men, it was for the patriarchs, the few men at the top. Patriarchy uses gender to enforce conformity into a brutal system where men are nothing more than cannon fodder and women are nothing more than producers of cannon fodder. This is a brutal, inhuman system that is very good for conquest, but it's not a good system to build a good life for anybody, equality for anybody, or human rights for anybody. It's something we really need to fight and scrap and dispose of. This belongs to the garbage bin of history. When people discuss whether or not we are living in a patriarchy, they are asking the wrong question, because this is not an either or. The truth is that we live in a society with a patriarchal history. We have patriarchal traditions and social structures that we need to get rid of. We have gotten rid of a lot of it in the last century, but there's still a lot more to do. What we ought to fight for is a society where all individuals are free to be whoever they want to be. A society where people don't get discriminated or stereotyped or exploited based on gender or any other categorization. A society where you don't have to have a gender identity at all, and if you want to have one, you should have a lot of different gender identities to pick and choose from. As for privilege versus responsibility, it is often two sides of the same coin, and a rather nasty coin at that. I'm going to return to this in later videos, probably one about the concept of the white man's burden.